Hi, welcome to our sixth session of Fearful Symmetries. My name is Shane. I use they, them pronouns. Fearful Symmetries is Steve Dempsey's Trail of Cthulhu campaign about neophyte magicians in 30s England as they search for places of power and other sources of knowledge. This game was organized through the Open Hearth Gaming calendar. You can find out more about the Open Hearth at openhearthgaming.com. I'm going to get the players to introduce themselves and their characters to start with. And Jose, if we start with you, maybe also give us a little vignette about what Sybil was doing last week while the others were dealing with, hell and the Fae and all sorts of other uh, entertainments.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Jose, and my pronouns are he and him, and I'm playing Sybil Carrington, pronouns she and her. Sybil is from an aristocratic family and is a musician. She plays the violin, and that's the way she's gotten into the occult and magic, is via music and her love of jazz in particular. Um, and while the others were away, dealing with cursed skulls and sadistic fae, et cetera, what Sybil was up to was, well, a couple of things, but one thing that I want to put here in the vignette is that she was conferring with an Oxford Don, let's call him Professor Chadburn. And he is an expert in local history and local folklore. And she was having tea with him, probably in a musty Oxford office, full of books and papers everywhere, the stereotypic one. And he's kind of an elderly man with bushy eyebrows. And what we see is Sybil and him poring over a map of Sutton Park, which is our destination in Birmingham, um, and um, and pointing out the Roman road through the park, the railway line, the burnt mounds, the barrows, et cetera, all on this map. And he is recounting to her stories, local stories and legends about different places within Sutton Park, which has a long and ancient history. That's what one of the things that Sybil was up to. We might find out more things as we go along.
All right, sounds great. Thank you. T, do you want to introduce George?
Ah, uh, I'm T, she, her, and I'm playing George Bennett, the Oxford. I always forget what the specific job she has is, and I can't find it looking at my notes for two
Research
seconds. So
fellow?
yes, that's it, research fellow, who spent last session doing a fair amount of research to no avail, and then had the information she wanted tantalizingly dangled in front of her face by a couple of the gentry, and she turned it down because she refused to not write her expose of the real psychic, but who also does use some of the cheap tricks that George has become acquainted with in her years of debunking, um, in an attempt to limit the amount of harm that she can do. Um, and she'll be dealing with the consequences of that at some point in the future, I'm very sure.
Isn't that the slogan for this game? They're dealing with the consequences at some point in the future. Speaking of dealing with the consequences at some time in the future, Pocket, would you like to introduce Jack?
Now, why would you assume that I intend to deal with consequences at some point in the future?
Yeah, I didn't suggest anything about intentions.
I intend to deal with consequences never. I'm pretty sure that I can outrun them. I mean,
Yeah.
I went across the Atlantic to avoid the consequences in the United States. I mean, I can cross the English Channel. I can go hide out in France. I mean, I can avoid the consequences in England. I
Uh-huh.
know, I might have to keep learning new languages from time to time, but I'm reasonably sure that I can stay ahead of them
It's
for
a
exactly as long as I
great
need to.
attitude.
Um, So I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Jack Taylor. who also uses he, him pronouns. Jack is a rapscallion, a ne'er-do-well. He's not exactly a cad. Um, I think Raymond Chandler's description of Philip Marlowe applies here. He would not decline a widow or a divorcee, but he would not despoil a virgin. He does have some ethics. They're just kind of fluid. And in the last session, he shut himself in a closet with the Atlas of Hell, which turned out to be a neck bone, and stayed in there with it long past the point of sensibility, and in fact, long past the point of, well, having his senses about him, was dragged out of the closet by Owen, and returned this Atlas of Hell, this neck bone that could retrieve anything from hell, to a gangster who promised to erase all of Jack's debts. And I'm certain that absolutely nothing can go wrong with giving an artifact that can retrieve literally anything from hell to a gangster will have any adverse consequences or effects.
Mm-hmm.
Gangsters are known for being reasonable and judicious and measured in their use of power. And also he retrieved the contract for his soul from hell, and it was delivered by, what was her name, Myrna?
I think it was Mona.
Yeah. It was brought to him in a bone tube, like a leg bone, and well, I'm sure he's going to have to figure out something to do with that at some point, but that can wait. And also, T, I was just looking at your notes for that initiation session, and I see your comment about you were hoping / planning to cross the threshold of this circle, but Jack beat you to it. So
I don't think I was. That might have been what I wrote down. But
that's
like I said,
what
I
the notes
usually
say.
edit them before I share them, but
Yeah.
I did
I
not
was
this
kind of
time.
planning / hoping to do it, ... Frowny face. Sorry.
No, that's chill.
All right. So before we get started, you should all refresh your abilities if you haven't already. We'll say the last two non-specific sessions were a sort of a mystery. So everything refreshes. This week, we're basically going to pick up with with you all arriving in Birmingham. It's the second biggest city in England. It has a huge manufacturing and industrial base, system of canals for transporting goods. You are coming here looking for a place of power in Sutton Park. I need to lightly retcon some stuff from last week after doing more research. I was imagining Sutton Park from the name to be a typical suburban or urban park. It's actually the biggest urban park in Europe, it turns out, 2,200 acres. That's about 9 square kilometers, 3.5 square miles, as Jose says, has a lot of sites of architectural significance, sorry, archaeological significance, etc. Um, when you attuned to the Leyline Nexus by Gumby Hall, you shared a vision of a troll guarding the place of power in Sutton Park, and you know that there have been a series of deaths in the park over the last year or so. 3 men apparently attacked by vicious animals, although what animals it could have been exactly has remained unclear. Owen was able to get a bit of a lay of the land from a local communist named Finley Cook. Found out that the branch has lots of problems with local fascists, and Owen also did at least some scouting of parts of Sutton Park, in particular the cruising area. I think hopefully Stephen will join us. If not, we'll just say that Owen has provided you all with the contact information for Finley if you need anything from him. So before we cut to Birmingham, are there any scenes anyone wants to get in or preparation that you'd like to establish or anything like that? Research, those sorts of things.
I
Lizzie
was
is
hoping
still
to.
kind of. Oh, go ahead, Jose.
But
No, please. You've got less time today than I do, so.
I was hoping to have a short scene with George, where Sybil kind of checks in with her after missing the seance, because Sybil did not show up at the seance, even though she said she was going
Yeah.
to go to this seance with George.
Cool.
So that's one thing that I'd like to put on the docket. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Paco, what were you going to say?
Lizzie Weiberg is still not present, correct?
Hmm.
Okay, enough said.
All right. So yeah, Sybil and George, do you want to frame this scene? George's office, somewhere in Oxford, on the ride to Birmingham. Where do you think you have this conversation?
Any of those seems fine to me, George.
Yeah. I mean, if you'd been meeting with Chadburn, then I think our office makes sense.
Yeah, then I swing by your
Question
office. Yeah.
for you, Jose. How
Mhm.
reliable is Sybil? Like, how often has George been stood
As
up
she
by Sybil
blanked.
in the past? Yeah.
I do not think that Sybil is like, notoriously unreliable. Um, uh, but sometimes she does flake. And so I imagine that she comes by your office. Let's just say this is the day after the seance was last night, let's say. Um,
Yeah.
and she, oh, there's Owen. Hey,
Hey.
hey, Stephen, welcome. And I see the door kind of ajar a little bit, and she raps on the frame of the door. I said, George, are you there?
Sybil. Uh, yeah. Come in. I thought you might be Carrie. Um, I
No, just
assume
me.
family business came up?
I'm so sorry. And she slumps down into a chair across the desk from you, and she says, you must think me terribly unreliable. I said, I was so keen to go to the seance with you, and so sorry. Um, yes, family, family. My brother, Anthony, he's always had a tendency to draw attention from somewhat unsavory elements. Our friend Owen
Hardly
notwithstanding, of
as.
course.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. George smiles at that.
And I've always, since I was a small girl, had these presentiments when something bad is going to happen to Owen or something is stalking him. I could tell you so many stories, George, but I won't. What I can say is something is after my brother. Something is stalking him, and I had to go and make some inquiries. I don't know what it is. I don't know who it is. And he, of course, seems blissfully nonchalant about the entire thing. It's his wont, and until the knife is at his throat, he won't pay attention. So I have to pay attention for him. I'm so sorry. How was the seance? Did it go well? Did you debunk Miss Polly?
Yeah, I think as you've been talking, George has been frowning deeper and deeper. And she stands, she closes the office door the rest of the way, and then turns to you and says, uh, I've done the best I can to limit her range of effect, I suppose you can say. But there wasn't much to debunk.
That does sound ominous. Was she the real thing
Yes,
then?
photo negative. Well, in debt uh, to something. We don't need to dwell on it. What's after Anthony? Have you told Owen?
No,
Is
I
it?
haven't seen Owen, and I don't know what it is. I've sent my little friend to keep an eye on my brother while we're
Hmm,
about our business.
it seems wise.
Until said stalker reveals himself, herself, I don't know what. All I can do is wait and watch. My brother certainly won't do anything. And when next I see Owen, I'll ask him to keep an eye on him too. But I believe we are headed to Birmingham soon.
Yes.
George, I must say you seem a little unsettled. Is everything quite all right after the seance last night?
Um, she laughs a little bit. I don't know how obvious it is to Sybil, but she certainly hasn't slept. And she says, no, no, everything is not quite all right. But there's
Sort of
nothing I
reaches
can do
out and
about it.
touches her hand. Yeah.
She smiles. Thank you.
Is there anything I should know about? Are you in danger?
We're all in danger.
Yes, I can't argue
You,
with that.
yes. I suppose the best thing we can do is keep on with the task that Lizzie has set before us and see if we can't make as many things right as we can in the time that we have.
And what of Miss Polly? Will she continue her seances after all?
I think it's likely. I don't think she'll be allowed to stop.
She's under some compulsion of some sort.
Hmm.
You're being most
Uh,
mysterious, George.
uh, George sort of pinches the ridge of her nose and says, I, I don't, oh God, there's so much I don't know, Sybil. I guess I've become used to becoming a fairly competent debunker, and being a fairly incompetent magician is not sitting well. It may be a gate of some kind, some sort of debt she's put herself into. It's, you know. And George sort of nods to a book on her desk that has a I could have picked a real book, a title, um, stories of elves and elfland in Northumbria or whatever.
Oh, the gentry.
Hmm.
Did you face them?
We met. Um, they wanted
You're
something
very
from me.
brave,
I
George.
wasn't. They cornered me. I don't feel brave, Lizzie. Nope, you're Sybil. I don't feel brave, Sybil.
I saw your expose in the paper. Just read the headline.
Yeah,
That should put a damper on things.
I
Don't you
hope so.
think?
I really hope so.
At least it will sow a seed of doubt in the minds of anyone who comes for an audience to Miss Polly. Maybe that will sour the milk or poison the well, and these gentry will become bored and move on. They're a fickle sort, or so I've been told.
I hope you're right, Sybil.
You did the right thing, George. You always do the right thing. I can count on you for that.
Uh, And you reach forward to touch her hand earlier, and I think she'll return the gesture, sort of matrilinearily, and say, "And you're a great comfort, Sybil." But there's like a small clock above her desk, and she sort of jerks her head towards it. I think the boys are waiting.
Yes, the train, the train.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what I've learned from my friend Dawn Chadburn on the way to the train station.
Uh,
And we can cut the scene
and
there.
George's face lights up at that. Sybil, you did research.
Of course, you're a very good influence on me. Actually, I asked Professor Chadbourne to do the research for me. Does that count?
You've
All right.
hired an assistant. I think the scene can close there.
Um, Stephen, welcome. I just asked everyone if there are any scenes they wanted to play out or any sort of preparations they wanted to make before we get to Birmingham. Is there anything that Owen wants to do?
Um, hmm. It is kind of weird because I did just actually go to Birmingham.
Well,
Yeah.
I told everyone else this earlier, but just to let you know as well, when I did some more research about Sutton Park between sessions, I realized maybe I had misled you and the group somewhat. Sutton Park is enormous. It's the biggest urban park in Europe. It's like 2,200 acres or something crazy like that.
Okay.
So it's quite enormous. So you've had a little bit of a survey, but probably not the whole thing. But yeah, you've already done some preparations. If there's nothing else you had in mind, we can always, cover stuff by flashback as needed. But just if there was anything that you wanted to um, fit in.
Um, I cook a nice meal for Anthony.
Nice. What's Owen's best? What's a nice meal to Owen?
Uh, oh,
Are we
it's
all just
kind of
having
just
the same thought where we remember what English cooking was like in the 1930s?
I think this is I mean it's a meal you cook for someone, so I feel like it's probably a little bit nicer than just, eel pie.
Hmm.
Uh uh yes. I think it's like he's gotten some beef and maybe it is a beef pie instead.
Nice. Um, all right. So, um, did Sybil, do you want to share your research? Uh, or are we just going to take that as written and jump ahead to Birmingham?
We could just like let it be as it is,
Yeah.
and we can bring it up later if you
Yeah.
want. I mean, I don't know what the research would be. I'd be making it up, or you'd be helping me make it
You were
up.
very convincing. All right. So by the time you get to Birmingham, you've all heard quite a bit about Sutton Park's history from Sybil. Um, what are you doing on arrival in Birmingham? You have a contact there named Finley, or at least Owen does. You know the location of the park. Um, what are some other potential threads? You have the names of three victims, people who died in the park. Um, I guess those are sort of the main obvious threads, but I'm happy also for you to follow up other ideas that you might have.
I think George's instinct would be to follow Owen's lead here, because he's more familiar with the area.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, we refilled our polls at the end
Yeah,
of
sorry,
last session.
you refresh. That's right.
Okay, let me just take care of that real
Sure.
quick then. Cool. Awesome. Um,
If nobody has any like clear specific ideas, then I'm happy to like frame a scene that might give some more direction, if that's better for
Well,
the group.
I do owe Owen's friends a song. I mean, I promised a favor for, Owen's assistance. So I feel it's only fair that I repay that.
Hmm. It's interesting that usually don't repay a favor with a wooden penny, but
Excuse me. I will have you know that I am putting my skills, such as they are, in service of your friends. It's not my fault that the only skills I really have are reading tarot, doing magic, smoking opium, playing guitar, and being chased out by married women. I mean, of those skills, which one is the most useful to your friends?
well, I have a few friends that probably are about as skilled in the last of those as you.
Which one was the last?
The getting chased out by married women.
Oh, trust me, I'm a master in that department. I dare say there's no one in this country who's as good at that as I am.
Perhaps you could do it competitively.
Strangely, the prize money for such a competition is rather slim, being as it's, well, at some point or another, eventually a foot race. What do your friends need tarot readings? I can pull cards for them.
Anyway, while we are having this conversation while we're walking down the street, one of the things I do have is towns and cities.
Mhm.
That says you can find your way around, know where to look for things, and identify dangerous territory.
Mhm.
Could I use that as we kind of? I want to imagine this is we've arrived in the city and are at the park in daytime.
Mhm.
Could I use that to get a sense of um, like where how the park is arranged, where like the yeah, something useful about the park and its place in the city.
Yeah. So I think I might start just by telling you some sort of general stuff about
Sure.
Sutton Park, and then we'll drill down on that. And this is a combination of what you observed, what Sybil's research has uncovered, etc. So it is this huge park. It was originally established in early medieval times by the kings of Mercia, one of the seven kingdoms of the Anglo-Saxon period. Lots of different kinds of, there's like ordinary grassy park, but there's also heathland and wetland and marshes, lakes, ancient woodlands. There's a rail line that runs through the park. There's like quite a bit of archaeological sort of material. There's a preserved section of Roman road. There's an ancient burial mound. There was a stone coffin dug out in 1808. There is an ancient encampment, or at least the sort of remaining earthworks from an ancient encampment, maybe Roman, maybe Norman, maybe both. Um, there were convalescent camps here during the war, and there are still some uh, structures left over from that, and quite a number of man-made pools and lakes, some dating to the 12th century, but most built more recently to power water mills. Um, And in terms of the uses of the park, it is, mainly used for recreation. Historically, there were, hunting grounds and things like that here. It has quite a lot of fauna and flora. Um, but yeah, now it's mainly a sort of recreation area, mostly for working class, inhabitants of Birmingham. But up on, I think it's the northern edge, it sort of borders a wealthier part of Birmingham with more high society types live right around the ruins of the Icknield Street, the old Roman road. Sybil, for a point of oral history, you absolutely have the name of a groundskeeper at Sutton Park. What is that name?
Oops, Edwardian name generator.
Yes.
Let's say Sean Maslow.
All right.
I'm writing that down so I don't forget it.
All right. Um, and yeah, are there things that you want to ask, Sean?
Yeah, so I think and we could play this out in character if we want to go more quickly. We could just do it out of character. But I'm imagining there's some kind of place where she finds him, his office or his some little shack or something where he works out of, in the park, because we've established that we've gone to the park itself now, and I think what she wants to ask him is his knowledge of the murders and where they took place, if there's anything that he knows about the circumstances of the murders. Uh, and he's a friend of Chadburn's because he's, also an aficionado of local history and local folklore in the park. And so so he might have some knowledge of those kinds of things in relationship to the deaths. That was complicated, but that's the idea.
Okay, so Sybil's going to go and talk to Sean, the groundskeeper, about the deaths. Is anyone going with Sybil to do that? Or are there other things that people want to do in the park during the day while you're here?
At least George would. There's no way she's letting Sybil wander off to go talk to strange men on her own.
In the park, unescorted.
And as one of the two people that actually knows how to talk to working class people, I'll tag along.
All right. Jack, are you going along with the others, or is there something else you'd like to do?
I'm going to go along with the others with the stipulation that I may sneak away if it gets too boring and go find something exciting.
Okay.
Because there's probably more chaos to be found elsewhere, but there's possible chaos that could be found with the group.
I was going to say there's like limited opportunities to like grab something valuable in the middle of the park, probably.
Nothing to steal.
Well, Owen, I'll have you know that in fact there are plenty of valuables in the park.
Yeah, many of them are archaeological in nature. They're not things you can slip into your pocket.
I wasn't speaking about those. I was speaking about family jewels.
All right. So, Sybil, I think Sean Maslow was expecting you, or at least, that you might come by. He's happy to welcome the four of you into his office, which is quite small, so it's going to be a bit squishy. It says, yeah, I heard that you might want some information about the park.
Oh, it's so gracious of you to have us here in your quaint office. I can tell that you have a great love for this place, Mr. Maslow. I'm wondering, I want to bring up a delicate subject, but these murders that have taken place recently here in the park seems unusual. Is that the case?
Murders? I don't know who you've been talking to. I don't know anything about any murders.
Sorry, deaths. There were grisly deaths, animal attacks even.
Yeah, it's not the the sort of thing that I'd expect a young lady of your stature to be interested in. But I mean, that is true. Um, Horrible it was. The most recent of them, I found well, what was left of the remains myself.
Oh, that sounds awful. Are such animal attacks common in Sutton Park?
No, I mean we have lots of bird life, lots of. I mean we have deer. I mean there are reports historically of bears in the park, but I've never seen one myself. But it's hard to imagine what could have done this. Um,
And where did you say you found the body?
uh, Oops, I've hidden my notes. Let me try and fix that. There we go. Um, the body I found was up at the by the northern edge of the park, near the milking gate. Um, the others, I think, were pretty far from there, down near some of the groves in the southeast, around Hollyhurst in particular.
You know this park very, very well, no doubt.
Mm.
Are these places where people would take a Sunday stroll, for instance?
Uh, I mean, yeah. I mean, people were found around the paths, the
I
bodies. I mean.
I Sybil was not here, or Jose also was not here for this, but
Oh,
Owen does say they do take a certain sort of stroll here through the park, and I cough at Sybil.
Uh, if I take you meaning, sir, that sort of stroll is more on the western edge, not near where the bodies were found.
Sybil's eyebrows go up and she makes a note to ask Owen about
Uh,
this later. Note to herself. Um, if anyone else wants to chime in here with Sean, I'm not sure how to approach him around any kind of weirdness around the death.
Uh, I think George will ask. I have some medical training, and also I have studied natural history quite deeply. Could you describe the nature of the wounds on these men? Perhaps the depth, number, whatever you can tell me. If
uh,
you
I'm
like
glad
me
we
to ask
went to the
Sybil to step
groundskeeper
outside.
for this information.
Sorry, Stephen, what did you say?
I'm glad we went to the groundskeeper for this detailed information about the state of the
He
park.
saw them fresh before they got, jumbled around.
The
By the incompetent police.
um, Sean is reluctant to share this information in front of Sybil. You're sure you want me to tell you? It
Yeah,
is quite
I was
horrifying.
gonna. Would you prefer to step outside?
I just
George says
don't
to Sybil.
wouldn't want to offend either of you ladies.
Oh yes, I'm fine. I will step outside, get a breath of fresh air while you talk about these more grisly matters.
Uh,
And Sybil takes a step out.
And so he'll tell you that he only saw one of the bodies himself. That was the most recent one which he discovered. It was a local shopkeeper named David Huskinson, and the injuries were horrible. There was an enormous amount of blood. The head had been completely severed. Uh, in his non-expert opinion, it appeared to have been clawed off or severed, irregularly, not by a blade or, you know what I'm trying to say. Um,
Mhm.
uh, there were enormous bite marks, like all through the remains of the body, very deep and broad. It must have been a very large animal.
Uh, George shoots a glance at Jack and Owen.
I am idly flipping through my tarot cards.
I do look at Jack and say, now, folks, Jack talked about favors. Do you know anyone that might have an inn and let us see these bodies?
Well, sorry, just for clarity, the most recent death was a couple of months ago, so I don't think
Oh,
it's
couple months.
possible
Sorry,
to
I was
see them.
sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
But he did say it looked like they were mauled.
Yes.
Hmm.
He only
Well,
knows about the most recent bodies directly, but he's heard, from other people that he's spoken to, that the other bodies were also mauled in a similar fashion.
no, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not often that an animal mauling in Birmingham is something of a uh, uncommon occurrence, I was given to believe.
Yeah, I've never heard of anything like it. I mean, the police seem to be taking it very seriously. They say that the deputy chief constable himself is overseeing the investigation.
Do you happen to know his name or contact information?
Well, his contact information is just care of the police, but his name is Deputy Chief Constable Bailwick.
Why does one person need so many words in front of their name? What was that? Deputy Chief Constable Bailiwick?
Yeah, that's his
Don't y'all have
rank.
sheriffs? Don't y'all have Johnny Law?
Is your American friend always like this?
You have
Sometimes
no
I'm
idea.
worse. And with that, I will quickly flick a card hard enough that it sticks into the wall and shudders like a dagger. And it's the Ten of Wands.
It's a nice trick.
You ought to see what it does to people.
Um, all right, might bring this scene to a close unless there's other things that people wanted to ask the groundskeeper. I am going to also establish that Finley Cook, Owen's communist contact, has set up a meeting for this evening with someone, a local named Rosa, who he says, knows a lot of the goings on in town, is probably a good person for you to talk to if you're. I think Finley doesn't know exactly what you're doing here, but probably assumes that it's connected to party business and so something he should support. Rose is a good person for you to talk to get a lay of the land. Um,
And I think as we're leaving the groundskeeper's hut and walking back toward town, Sybil will walk next to Owen and say, Owen, you were with Anthony last night, no?
I nod.
Sorry, what did you say?
I say I nod and say,
Oh, you nod. Yeah.
yeah. It's what of it, Sybil? Or he doesn't call you Sybil. He calls you
Miss Carrington.
Carrington.
Lady Carrington.
No,
Or
just Miss Carrington.
Miss Carrington, okay. I do hope you're keeping an eye out for him. He tends to, you may have noticed, he tends to attract the attention of rather unsavory elements.
Oh,
And
is
I
that a
do
dig at
worry about
Miss
him.
Carrington?
I see you as not fitting that pattern. What's your last name? If you're gonna last name me, I'm gonna last name you back.
Oh,
Heath,
yeah, I
Mr.
did.
Heath. I just hope. I know you're fond of my brother. He does inspire fondness in many. But I hope your fondness will extend to protecting him from dangers that might threaten him. Can I count on you, Mr. Heath?
Well, of course you can, Miss Carrington, but I do feel that I am only being told at best a tenth of the story.
As soon as I know more, I will share it with you. I have my little friend observing my brother while we're away to make sure nothing untoward happens. But I wanted to bring it to your attention. I feel like Anthony is a bond that we share. And he requires supervision. And I'm fine to leave it at that if you want. And just to be out of character for 1 second, I'm just giving you daggers if you want to. I'm trying to leave it open-ended for you, Shane, to do whatever the hell you want with it. But opening it up, and you don't have to do anything with it either. But since Anthony is the pillar that we share, Owen and I, it seems like a nice stress point interpersonally to push on. So I'll leave it at that.
Right, I'm certainly interested in poking at that a little more in the future. Thank you. All right. Is there any more investigating or non-investigating that anyone wants to do before you get to dinner with Rosa?
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Did we all overhear that conversation?
Yeah, Sybil, how discreet were you?
I think Sybil was having a conversation with Owen. George and Jack were nearby because we're all walking back to town together. If they wanted to eavesdrop, they would have. If they wanted to be discreet, they would have fallen back a little. But certainly, if you want Jack to hear, Jack heard.
And again, who is it? Is it Anthony that's kind of
Anthony.
hanging out in low places?
Oh, yeah, Anthony hangs out in low places. Yeah, definitely. And he's
I'm going
Owen's
to overhear
lover and
this.
my little brother.
I'm going to overhear this, kind
Okay.
of nod to myself, and fade into the background as I slip away.
And that's Jack cutting off too now.
All right. We're coming up to the top of the hour. We might take a break here, but if there's other scenes that people want to get to before we meet Rosa, we can squeeze one or two in, maybe. All right. Well, Jose, sorry, I should ask you specifically because you're going to need to leave shortly after we get back from our break.
Right, I've
Is
got
there
15
anything?
minutes. If we
Yeah.
take the break now, then I'll sign off now. But if there's anything you want to do with Sybil before that, I could do that a little bit now in these next 15 minutes. But I'm fine, however you want.
Okay. Well, in that case, yeah. If Sybil, so I don't know that there's anything in particular that Sybil is going to do in the next 15 minutes that we would push the break back for.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, then I can sign off now if you guys want to take your break now, and I'll just join you all next week. I could
uh, I mean, I think it makes sense that Owen might politely suggest to Sybil that she's probably not going to enjoy hanging out with the local working class communists, that it might not be exactly her scene, it might make things a little more awkward. Um, and maybe Sybil goes off to do some other sort of investigating or, find
Mhm.
somewhere to play some music or whatever you would like her to do.
Yeah, and I can do that in Discord in between sessions.
We can do some play by post if you want. That totally
A little,
works.
I'll do a little play by post with Sybil, and I'll listen to what you all get up to tonight, and then we'll go from there.
All
All
right.
right.
That sounds good.
Thanks, everybody. It's good to see you, and I apologize for having to bail.
That's
Hey,
See
all
you
right.
no
next week.
apologies needed.
Yeah, have a
Not
good
Cheers,
evening.
Jose.
Love seeing you.
Bye.
Bye, Jose.
And yeah, the rest of us, I think we'll take a 10-minute break here. So we'll be back about 7 minutes past the hour.
That's good. Back in 10. Last one back.
Cool. So in the evening, you meet up with Finley, Rosa Hardy, and Joseph Tull, all local communists. They take you to the Bull's Head for dinner, you know, traditional working class pub. Uh, the, you know, the Finley is willing, well, they're all willing to take Owen's word that the two of you are trustworthy, but they are going to check, Owen, you're sure that it's okay to speak openly in front of these two? Um,
I mean, does he like?
yeah, that's my question.
I'm like, we can talk. George is fine, and Owen probably won't remember it. Oh, and if
Jack,
Owen's not here,
you're Owen.
so
Jack
The
I mean,
vanished.
sorry, not Owen. Jack probably won't remember it. But Jack's
Well,
not here. So.
yeah, Jack's not there. Jack slipped away
okay.
as you were chatting about
Um,
Anthony.
has Jack gone anywhere in particular?
I went looking for Anthony.
I mean, Anthony's back in Oxford, right?
So
So you're leaving Birmingham and just heading back an
I've
hour.
already stolen one car. Look, I'll
Okay.
just steal it, pop back to some of the usual haunts, find Anthony, put him in the car with me, bring the car back.
Okay. This is a plan. All right. So, um, Uh, so yeah, Finley and Rosa and Joseph take you for dinner in this pub. Um, if you try and talk about anything of substance, they sort of discreetly like hush you and say, we shouldn't talk here. So it's a friendly dinner, and then the three of you go back to Rosa's house, which is nearby. Sorry, the three of you, the five of you, go back to Rosa's house nearby to talk privately. Um, And I guess Rosa will sort of lead off. She's, quite optimistic and gregarious and, talkative. She say, "Well, Owen, your reputation, I've heard good things. I hope that you're here to help us out, but we're not really sure why it is that you're here."
I think I'm working with some these fellows. We're investigating. Like I'm wondering how Owen does phrase it. Matters of a hidden society we believe is working to maintain the power of in the hands of certain elites. And there's we believe that we've gathered information that we believe that whatever deaths are occurring, whatever these mysterious deaths are, they may be related to to this conspiracy.
Well, I mean, is it a conspiracy or is it just the fascists? I mean, what you're describing sounds like fascism to me. There's a group called England Proud that have been causing a lot of trouble around here. I'm hoping that from what you say, we might have the same problem and we can find a solution that helps us both.
That
Um,
was my hope as well.
and Finley will sort of say, Rose has been leading the effort here to understand this new threat, and she will sort of pull aside a sheet in the lounge room where you're sitting and show you her corkboard, which she has prepared to share the research that she's done about the local fascist group. Um, and I've
Oh
just
my
posted a
God,
link in
Shane.
the chat.
Oh my God. Christmas for tea.
um, and she'll sort of talk you through it. So you can see, uh, down the bottom, like at the absolute bottom is just the rank and file, like whoever else might be involved. But then you've got a string of what, half a dozen stewards or like street fighters. They're overseen or led by a guy named Trevor the Knife. He gets his orders from Nora Wallace, who's the local leader, and she gets her instructions from the national leader, Albert Martini. Um, you also recognize the name over there on the right of Deputy Chief Constable Bailwick, who she thinks is being bribed by the fascist lawyer. And there's this sort of central like question mark card on the corkboard for who is funding or supplying the local group. Um, she explains that the bright red arrows are um, like confirmed connections, things that they've evidenced, and the paler arrows are suspicions or theories, not really confirmed.
And I think George will tap the crossed out name of Huskinson and say, and this is the only one of their operatives that was a victim? What about the other two?
Uh, the other two, so I mean, I think that like even though you've come here to investigate these deaths, like the deaths aren't particularly huge news for locals. Like you will need to sort of give them more context to know what you're asking about. Three deaths over a year. They might have been news at the time, but nobody was really like actively thinking about them. But with a little explanation, I think she'll say, yeah, I mean, I haven't really looked into that. I remember those news stories. That there may be some connection, but not that I know about. And she definitely like pulls out a little notebook and makes herself a note to look into it.
Also, I'm assuming, I don't think I have it written down, but I'm assuming that we do know the names of the other two victims.
Yeah, I don't think we've said that aloud, but I'm assuming that you do. I will tell you that the other two victims were Tim Stevenson and Alfred Daft.
And did we also know the approximate dates?
Yeah. I have in my notes that David Huskinson died 2 months ago, Stevenson died 6 months ago, and Daft died 11 months ago.
I think George's instinct is to check if that has anything to do with, solar events, lunar events, astrology shit, magician stuff.
Sure. I mean, like from,
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna check if there was like a full moon. I thought that's what you meant.
I mean, that is on the table. That was relevant last time, right?
you not that not nothing that comes to you obviously.
Mm.
Um, and Rosa will explain that the fascists have been getting bolder lately, that, for a long time, the party could keep them on, the local party could keep them under control pretty well. She emphasizes the local party. It maybe grumbles a little bit that the national party hasn't been doing enough to support them. Um, and as she talks and sort of talks you through all this stuff, it's increasingly obvious that Rosa and Joseph and Finley are all like holding something back and sort of looking at each other as if they're trying to decide whether to say or not. Um,
Should I take a smoke break?
I give a
George.
little nod of my head at you, and yeah, go ahead, George. We shouldn't be here much longer.
All right. She slips out.
all right. And so there's like a moment of silence as they all wait for George to have left, for them to hear the door close behind her. And there's still, some trepidation about saying something. And then I guess Finley will be the one who comes out and says, "All right, Owen, now what we say here doesn't leave this room, but I have to ask. I know this might sound crazy. Do you believe in magic?" And I think we'll pause that scene there and pick up with
Okay.
Jack as he drives back to Oxford. Um, so Jack, tell me about this. You've stolen a car.
Uh-huh.
You're on your way back to Oxford, and the
Uh-huh.
plan is to just drive around divey bars looking for Anthony. Is that right?
I mean, I'm reasonably sure I have a pretty good idea of Anthony's vices. And I mean, let's be honest. I'm kind of a lowlife. I think I have a pretty good idea of where he might be hanging out. And so I don't think it's going to take me that long to find him and, toss him in the back of the car or, invite him. He can come willingly or unwillingly, but either way, I'm going to deliver him.
Um, and I mean, are we saying that it's easy for you to find him because they're the same sort of low life dives where Jack would be hanging out otherwise?
I mean, unless I was smoking opium, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the kind of places where I play. I mean,
Yeah,
I have to play the blues somewhere. And it's
sure.
not as though I'm being invited to do it at the Royal Albert Hall.
Absolutely. So bear with me for one sec. I just need
Of
to
course.
organize myself a little. Um, so I think that like the second dive bar that you get to, the bartender recognize you. Well, his name is maybe like Dan Witcher. He sort of gestures for you to come over. Um, what's your relationship like with this guy? Does he like you, dislike you, neutral? What's the deal?
I play his bar and people drink.
All
And,
right.
and usually not too much gets destroyed.
Sorry, you're breaking up for me a
That's the
little.
sort of
I'm not
thing
sure
that
if
it would,
that's
oh, sorry about
no,
that.
that's
I
right.
just saw,
You've come good
is
now.
it better now?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I play his bar, people drink, they don't destroy too much. Usually that's a recipe for a good relationship with the bartender slash bar owner.
okay. So then he's reasonably happy to see you. He gestures for you to come over. He says, Jack, do you want a drink?
You know, normally I would say yes, but I'm looking for a young man named Anthony. You know him, you've seen him around.
Yeah, I know him. I've seen him around. There was someone in here looking for you just a couple of hours ago.
Oh, really? Who?
A guy named Tobias George. He didn't seem like he was a friend of yours.
I was afraid something like that might happen. Right. Well, if you see Tobias again, tell him to meet me at the last place we were civil to each other. He'll probably remember that.
All right, I'll
But
tell him.
Anthony, this kid, you know where he is? You seen him around?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Jesus. Where the hell is this guy? If you see Anthony, I'll pop back around in about an hour or so. If you see Anthony, figure out a way to keep him here. Slip him a Mickey, do whatever you got to do. Just keep him here. Next time I play, I'll play for free.
He looks at you like it's going to take a lot more than one free blues performance to get him to like knock
Okay,
out.
listen, twice. Okay, 2 free shows. I'll even give you the money that I make in tips from it. It's a family thing. Okay.
He doesn't really agree or refuse. He just like hears what you're saying. Um, so I mean, I
Fine.
guess we won't play out like every scene of you trying different bars, but is that just the plan to
Yeah.
keep trying different bars in the hope that you will eventually find Anthony?
Well, I need to circle back around to that bar in about an hour because I
Hmm.
want to see if Tobias shows up.
Hmm.
But otherwise, pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's not a huge amount of space where Anthony would be going, so I can just kind of putter around, poke my head in, do a quick butcher's, and be right back out the door.
Hmm. Okay, so
Um, Now, I wonder if I
eventually,
could use Streetwise to figure out which bar.
yeah, I think if you're wanting to find him reasonably quickly, a point spend for Streetwise seems right to me.
All right, I will go ahead and spend that.
All right. Um, so eventually you come to the bar where Anthony's drinking. So I think I want to check in a little with Stephen since Anthony is your pillar. Like, what is like? Is Anthony getting blackout drunk? Is he, having a chill social night with friends? Like, what do you think Anthony's doing when you're not around?
Yeah, I didn't get the sense from either of us, from me or Sybil, that he'd be getting blackout drunk. I do think he's having a social night. I think with friends. I think he's probably going to flirt with someone if he can. Um, and he'll see where it goes from there.
Sure. Um, So, Jack, you have a point in notice. So, when you get to the bar where Anthony is, exactly like Stephen just said, flirting, having a nice time, seeing where things go, you also notice that there's a large man in a trench coat sitting in the corner who is watching Anthony. What do you
Oh,
do?
you better watch out. That's his type.
Great. Well, nothing to be done for it except the direct approach. Um, Gonna walk over to the bartender. Do I know this bartender?
I think for a 1 point, you spared us one in Streetwise, so we'll say you do know the bartender, sure.
Okay. What the hell? I'll go to 0 in my Streetwise pool. Oh, and
Oh,
I hope
sorry,
you appreciate
I
it.
meant for the existing Streetwise spend. I meant that was like
Oh,
part of what you
okay.
get.
Okay. So I'll go over to the bartender. Say, George, listen, I need a favor. Okay.
Hmm.
Now,
He looks very skeptical at being asked for a favor by you.
I'm not asking you to do much, all right? Not much at all. And in return for doing this for me, I will play your bar for free once. You don't owe me a penny.
Go on.
See the gentleman over there in the trench coat?
I see him.
All I need to do is delay him 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I'm going to try to get a friend of mine out of here, and that gentleman looks like he might be an interested party. So you delay him by a minute, I'm out of your hair, gone like the fog at dawn.
He looks at this large, menacing figure in the trench coat. He says, "You want me to what? Get into it? I don't want to be any part of this business. Whatever you've got
No,
going on."
I'm not even saying fight or anything like that. Just send over a couple of drinks or something like that. Block his view. There's got to be a pretty girl around here you can send over, or a pretty boy. I don't know. Tell you what, I'll sweeten the pot. I will play twice.
Yeah.
You know, people drink. You know, I bring the drinkers.
So I think it's got to take a spend to convince him to do this. It could be maybe an interpersonal spend. I think American makes sense as you like braggadociously like convincing this is a good deal. Um, what
That
will you
okay,
spend?
yeah. That feels yeah. I spent a point in American to convince.
All right. So he has a word with, his bar staff. Someone's going to go over and sort of confusedly distract this person with a mislay, drinks that were directed to the wrong table or something. It'll buy you just a few moments to do what you need to do. What do you
And
do?
I will go over to Anthony and say, right, Anthony, Owen sent me. Come on.
He looks pretty surprised. Has Owen sent you? What,
Yeah,
to summon me? What do you mean?
no, he misses you.
Well, he knows where I am.
He's in Oxford. He thought it might be, he's up in Birmingham. He thought it might be fun to get out of town for a day or two. You know, have a little, have a getaway.
Um, I don't know why Anthony would agree to go with you. You're welcome to spend if you have a relevant ability.
Mm, let's see. Does bargain sound like it would count? Or flirting and romance?
Well, I mean, flirting and romance is interesting. So, bargain, you've got to offer him something in exchange. Flirting and
Well, I am.
romance,
I'm going to take him to Owen.
I don't know that that's what you want. Like, it's not an offer, really. Um,
I'll drive him to Birmingham.
I mean, he does it especially
I'm a
like it's not that
glorified
he
cat
doesn't want
surfer.
to see Owen, but he's having a
All right.
perfectly nice night.
All
Um,
right. So how about romance?
Yeah, okay. I buy that you can spend a point of romance to convince him that this is like a nice romantic thing to do.
Yeah.
And so, all right, he'll agree. Um,
Okay. With that, Bob's your uncle. We're out of the bar, in the car, and on our way before the gentleman in the trench coat even notices we're gone.
well, I don't know that that's quite what happens. I think that you step outside, and leaning against the car waiting for you is Tobias George. And he says, "Ah, there you are, Jack. I've been looking all over for you." And we'll cut away from that scene and we'll come back to you in a little bit. Um, so George, are you just having a smoke outside, waiting to see what Owen can find out?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, Owen. Finley asks you if you believe in magic. What do you say?
Well, it might be surprising, but I've seen enough of the world to know at this point I can't dismiss the possibility.
That's a smart thing to say. Um, and Rosa will take over and she'll say, "Look, for a long time we could keep the local fash under control, no problems. We were stronger than them, but maybe a month or two ago, it seemed like they were a step ahead of us all the time. Uh, I was convinced they had a mole, close with us. It was driving me crazy trying to figure out who it was. But then, and at this point, she sort of cedes the conversation to Joseph. And what Joseph will tell you is that a week ago, um, six local militants were meeting up. They were preparing to go and confront some fascists who have a street stall at the Bull Ring. Um, and suddenly they were at home. They were approached by uh, Big Malcolm and Little Malcolm and Trevor the Knife. And they felt very confident. The six of them could easily take these three. Little Malcolm and Big Malcolm are both pretty pathetic. But Trevor had some kind of strange wooden box with him. And he opened up the box, and inside was what looked like a human hand with a candle extending out of the top of it. And as soon as he opened the box, none of them could move. The communists were frozen, um, completely at the mercy of the fascists, and they were badly beaten, warned that this was told this is the final warning. The next time we do this, we'll burn the building with you inside it. Um, and yeah, they still don't understand what happened. Was it some sort of hypnosis? Was it some sort of power? It felt, there was this terrible feeling in the air when the hand was exposed. Um, but, all of them were sort of beaten into submission. Only then was the box closed. They were able to move again, and the fascists left them lying.
It's troubling, and I think I'm pause for a second. You mentioned possibility of a mole. There's clearly it's clear that we won't be able to take them on in a fair fight with that thing. Do you know if and I think oh, it strikes me that they probably don't know my face too well. We talked about a mole, but well, I suppose I'm just the sort of men they'd be looking for if they're looking to expand.
Could be.
Um, and Steven the player knows what this thing is, but I'll wait until I can report this to George for her to tell Owen what it is.
Sure.
Miss George will probably know a bit more. We'll probably be able to speak a little bit more about what exactly that object is. I don't need to report to her all the details of it, but I'm sure she might know. She's more adept at that sort of thing than me.
Well, we trust your judgment, or at least Finley does. So do what you need.
Don't worry. By the once we're through, we'll be able to crack a good few fasci skulls before things are over.
It would be good to see.
And, oh, go ahead.
I just said that would be good to see.
And yeah, I'm gonna go out and meet up with George at that point.
All right. Well, we can play out that scene a little bit before we cut back to Jack. So George, if Owen relays part or all of that to you, between your points in occult and folklore, you'll certainly recognize what's described as a hand of glory, a sort of
Yeah.
famous artifact.
And God favorite. Uh, yeah, I think George is sort of scowling as you describe it and says, when I've read it, needs to be made with the hand of a hanged man. Not too many of those kicking around these days. I I think we should probably look around the park at some point. I'm happy to spend for this if you prefer, Shane. George is going to again sort of sheepishly reach into her vest pocket and pull out a stone with a hole in it. And says,
I will actually say think that England was still hanging people at this point in time.
was it in the 30s? Wow.
I believe it.
All right, we'll
Yeah, it
edit
was.
that.
The last executions in the United Kingdom were by hanging and took place in 1964.
Okay.
Jiminy Cricket. Wow. All right. I
So
mean, I
there
guess I
are
would treat it as
hanged
capital
men
punishment.
like lying around.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, sort of object that it would be really helpful to have access to, say, a deputy chief constable if you were going to create. Hmm. I think George just sort of intimates that. Uh, and she pulls out this stone with a hole in it and says, I don't know, I've been reading up. This might help. I don't know. Oh, and do you ever feel just tremendously stupid?
Owen pauses and thinks. Mostly when I'm spending, mostly just when I'm spending time with Jack.
George laughs at that. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I feel like taking a test isn't even the sort of right scale, right? I feel like we're in deep danger and we don't really know what we're doing.
Owen sighs and says, I know what you're saying. I tend to look at it as I may not know exactly what's going on here with the magic, but I do know that there are those who have power, those who don't, and once you strip away all of the frippery of magic, it's just a matter of power. And there's always one way to handle. There are only so many ways to handle the powerful. We either do it by stealth and take it from them, or we find a larger hammer to smash theirs with.
Mhm. I think of the two, I'd prefer the stealthier route.
Well, and it is my thought that of the two of us, I'm the one that probably will find it easiest to get access to this gang of theirs. But well, and I forget, you're not a professor. You're what's your title?
Uh,
Research fellow.
Right. Owen won't use that language. You're you're one of the academic set. I'm sure a governor like our looking here who that is. Like our bailiwick would be more willing to talk to a woman of your standing than to me.
Maybe you're right. And if nothing else, I can dig into the records, see if there's anything that links Stevenson and Daff with with each other. Besides, I guess being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
All right. So we might cut here back to Jack for a minute. So Jack, what do you do?
Tobias, I was gonna come see you as soon as I finish up my business in Birmingham. I'm glad you're here. Hop in. We can talk on the way.
Tobias thinks about that and says, well, I don't know if my friend is going to fit in your car. And he gestures behind you where the hell beast from the dam is sort of sitting in the gutter, pretty vast and enormous.
Huh. You made friends with it.
I told you. Now,
Tobias, you
so
always surprise me.
can I ask a question about Jack?
You can always ask a question about Jack. He might even tell the truth.
Well, this is why I'm asking Puckett rather than Jack. So,
Okay.
did Jack have the foresight to hide or meaningfully conceal or secure the contract for his soul?
It's in his apartment, uh, probably tucked under his mattress or under the floorboard.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be tucked away somewhere.
Well, I think it was tucked away somewhere, but Tobias looked at your apartment first. And so he'll throw you the empty the empty length of bone that it came wrapped in. And he says, I want my skull back.
I thought you wanted rid of that thing. I did you a favor, and this is how you repay me?
I did you a favor too. I'm keeping your whatever was in that thing, I'm keeping it somewhere nice and safe and secure where nobody's going to find it and steal it from you. Give me my skull back. We got no problem.
Tobias. Do you know what the state of your liver is after drinking that much? Just to have that thing in your proximity?
It's a liver.
You only have one.
You know what you only have one of? A reputation, respect. That's what I care about. Nobody took me seriously until I had that thing, and now it's gone. Now I'm just a joke again. I'm not living that
Tobias,
way.
Tobias, please. You were a joke even with that thing. But you're my friend, or at least as close a thing to a friend as I have. I mean, let's be honest. I never slept with anyone you were interested in. That's how you know that I respect you. There are not
Out
many
of
people I know who can say the
curiosity,
same thing.
yeah, out of curiosity, what is Anthony doing during all this?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I guess he's just observing. He doesn't really know who Jack is. I guess he sort of has seen him around, um, and certainly is wondering what all is going on.
Tobias, please get in the car. We'll have a nice drive up to Birmingham. We can talk about all this. Your friend, I'll open up the trunk and your friend can ride in the back. It'll be a
Okay.
nice little getaway.
Am I getting my skull back? You telling me
We'll
my
talk
skull's in
about that.
Birmingham?
Sure, or thereabouts. We can talk about it. I'm not opposed to you getting your skull back. Well, I'm not opposed to you getting Hell's skull back, I suppose I should say. I just wonder why you want that damn thing back, considering that you couldn't use it, considering that it hurt you all the time. I mean, it was like an abusive partner. I like you, Tobias. I don't want you to be subject to that sort of thing. Like every time you engaged with it, it hurt you. But again, car, drive, talk.
All right, fine. And he'll look at Anthony and say, "Do people normally fall for this sort of thing?" And Anthony, I think, will just sort of shrug his shoulders. But all right. So Jack is driving back towards Birmingham with Anthony and Tobias in the back seat and a hell beast in the trunk of the stolen car.
Well, a large hell beast poking out of the back of the trunk because given the size, I figure we have to leave the boot open so that it can fit more or less.
All right. Fair. Um, I'm just thinking about whether there's some sort of role I should make for this. I'm not really sure that there is.
I am perfectly fine if you want to have me show up at the most awkward point in Owen's time in Birmingham this evening with his boyfriend Tobias and a hell beast in tow.
I mean, at the earliest, I figure you're arriving back like somewhere around midnight, right? You snuck off like around dinner time. You spent an hour driving each way. You spent at least an hour or two like looking for Anthony. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's getting pretty late by the time you get back. But all right.
Okay.
So uh, George and Owen, um, yeah, it's probably also relatively late. You know, mid. Uh, I mean, what late evening, early, getting towards bedtime, I guess. By the time you finish up talking to the Rosa and the others, is there more that you want to do tonight, or is that we're going to pick up the next day?
No.
If Owen's
Oh,
down, George wants to go back to the park and take a look around
oh, sure. Yeah, Owen can do that.
mystically.
Sure.
Oh yeah. For sure. You definitely can go back to the park. You want to use your mystic vision?
I sure do.
Just need to remind myself how that works, but I think it's just a will check.
I think so, yeah. Uh, I am pitching that hole with a stone in it is an appropriate focus.
Oh yeah, I buy that. And so is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean it's a big park, and the bodies were found in two separate places.
Mhm.
Um, the groundskeeper didn't mention anything about like drag marks, or it seemed like it had been like moved here from someplace else. So I think George really wants to figure out where the sort of locus is on the ley lines a little bit more specifically, because there's just a lot going on here. Um, and if we can have a point on the map, I think that would make her feel better about eventually being able to attune to it.
Hmm. Oh yeah, okay, go ahead. So I think that's just it would be a difficulty 4 test, but you're right, you've got an appropriate focus, so difficulty 3 will test.
I will spend, she's got quite a bit of will. I will spend two and lose the tab with the dice roller. There we go. Got it. Uh, no, when you spend, you add to your dice pool. You don't add a modifier. Is that right?
So
No, you do
you
add a
roll you
modifier.
just roll d6 for everything and you add the number of points that you're spending.
Thank you. One plus two. Yes, six.
Okay. So yeah, you starting sort of around the area where the two bodies were found together, you pretty easily like catch sight of one of the ley lines, and a little bit of tracking and triangulation will lead you to a pool more or less in the middle of the park, which is where the place of power appears to be.
Yeah,
It's
and she'll.
it's called
Wait.
Keeper's Pool. I don't know if you know that particularly, but just if we need a name for it.
And she'll pass the stone with a hole to it to in it to Owen and say, "I think this is it."
Uh, no, Owen does I think Owen does well. Again, I'm saying Owen does, but he also has no notice. So I think he does keep an eye around, uh, sees nothing, and takes the stone, and also looks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can make the same will test, difficulty 3, to see that the ley lines meet there.
Sure. Yeah, I can. Ah, uh, no, I like the idea. I'll just make it a flat roll. We'll see. That's a 50-50 that I
Ooh.
see it. This is in PBTA. Um, Dice.
Do you need a link to the roller?
Yeah, I hadn't had the dot roller up until now. Okay. No, no.
Oh.
Um, no, you can sort of like generally sense that something magic is in the air, but you can't see it with any specificity.
I toss the stone back to you and say, well, I'll take your word for it, Mr. George.
Hmm. Uh, unless something happens, I'm happy for that to be the scene.
I
Yeah.
I guess yeah, like I don't notice, but I do want to know, like, are there like signs that there has been any recent violence here at this particular place?
Oh yeah, I think
Um,
that you have violence, right? Which I think covers that sort of thing.
Mm.
I mean, not particularly. The
okay.
place of power is like in or around the pool itself, the little pond. Um, and yeah, there are no signs of recent violence here.
Hmm.
It's quite close to where two of the bodies found, but the most recent of those was, I think, 6 months ago.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Owen was just concerned that this was like another trap type situation. And he does say it's very quiet around here, all things considered. I would have expected more, given how our looking for a place of power turned out last time. I would have expected more of well, I don't know what more of, but maybe more shadows.
Mm.
Another carnivorous child at the very least.
Well, judging by the dentition, I'd say it's at least an adult. That's an upgrade.
I
Sorry,
mean,
big teeth.
having found the place of power, it's open to you to just perform the ritual now and try and attune to it. Or you can try and learn more about what's going on before you do that. What are you thinking?
Ah. Uh, I think George is fiddling with the stone. It says, I know it's just the two of us, but if we can, you know, she wiggles her fingers. Wouldn't that make our lives easier? Would it put a target on our backs? How obvious would it be to the people who are working against us?
Useful, but I would hope that we'd know what was responsible for those deaths before we made ourselves vulnerable like that.
Hmm. And I don't know, maybe this is selfishness, but I'd prefer Sybil to be here. I feel that she has a much finer grasp of the mystical than the rest of us.
Like that said, I Stephen the player is open to it if you want, if this is a direction you want to take it. T.
Yeah, I think George is not feeling super confident. A. B, she's also worried that she's going to get killed at some point and would prefer to have this done before that. She's a tidy sort of person. She'd like to tie up any loose ends she could have. Um, we don't really know what the consequences of failing a ritual are, do we? Because we didn't fail the initiation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done, research and reading in the occult. You have some points in the occult, so you certainly know that the magic texts, often describe that failing a ritual can, uh, open you to, to spiritual forces that can slip through the sort of gaps between worlds as the ritual opens them. Often, that failing a ritual might see it take effect in some sort of warped or corrupted fashion. Um, yeah, there's a lot of warnings about the effects of an unsuccessful ritual.
Yeah, seems bad. Uh, but she is dogged, and this is part of what we came here to do. Um, I don't know, maybe we should do it.
I think that maybe as you're having this conversation, you realize that someone's watching you from a little way away. Um, I think George notices first because you have more notice than Owen, who has no notice.
Yeah.
Um, but
I do just love this continuing thing that Owen is keeping watch, but actually sees them in a second.
He's so tall, and you just like see him right over stuff.
but assuming that George sort of points him out to Owen, Owen will recognize him. So you came here like to check out the cruising area the other night. I assume that you hooked up with someone while you were here, and the guy that you hooked up with, assuming that's what happens, or at least someone you saw in the cruising ground, is like sort of lurking a way away, trying to get a sense of what the two of you are doing.
Oh, I give a brief cough and say, well, I don't think I don't believe he's here for the place of power, is what I'll say.
Ah. And I think because George was wearing clothing that from the back could be seen as men's. And will sort of like reposition herself slightly and be like, well, shall I head back to my rooms?
I think that Owen is not in a particular mood to hook up tonight. Like we're gonna blow up. Like I'm not Jack. I can't uh, enjoy myself mid investigation like that.
Fair. All right.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think George will intimate that you should ask him if he knew Tim or Alfred, though. It could be lead.
Yeah. Um,
It's delightful you think we use names, George.
She is flushing. This woman has no points in romance.
well, I think that makes sense, but we're at the top of the hour, so let's take a 5-minute break here, and then we'll see if Owen wants to ask his recent contact any more about the deaths in the park.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sounds good. Back in back. Back. Slightly before my alarm went off.
Back.
Cool. Um, so I'm curious about what the conversation is like in Jack's car, or not Jack's car, the car Jack's driving on the way back to Birmingham. Um, is there anything that you want to say to Anthony about what all is going on?
Anthony, I realize that all of this may seem confusing, but but Owen will explain it.
Mhm.
I'm sure Owen will explain it. Owen will probably explain it.
You're a friend of
Owen might
Owen's?
explain it. As such, for depending on how you define friend, yes, we are at the very least acquaintances. I consider Owen a friend, even if Owen may not consider me a friend. Hopefully helping him out with this will change that.
Is Owen going to be happy that you've brought me to see him?
Why wouldn't he be?
That's what I'm asking you, really.
Anthony, anyone would be delighted to see you, especially if they harbor romantic feelings for you.
Uh, I think Anthony looks a little nervously across at Tobias at this. He doesn't necessarily want a random stranger with a stranger monster in the boot of the car knowing about his relationships. Um,
Tobias is an old friend. Depending on how you define friend, Tobias is an old friend.
Tobias
I've
is just
known
shaking
Tobias
his
for a
head.
while. Tobias, we have known each other for some time, have we not?
Unfortunately,
You see, there's no place for us to go but up. We can only improve upon our existing connection.
um, Tobias will say to Anthony that he shouldn't believe a single word that comes out of your mouth.
Hmm. Tobias, you wound me. I
I
am
sure hope so.
unfailingly honest. I am unfailingly honest. When have I ever lied to you?
I think he'll just start to reel off historical instances of you lying to him because he is definitely a grudge holding type, and he will bring up things that you can't believe anyone has recalled.
And I'm sure that I have a reasonable explanation for every last one of them. Most of them. Probably most of them. Maybe some of them.
And I think Anthony will ask Tobias, like, what's all this about a skull?
I'm just going to sigh and shake my head at that. Say,
Uh,
Anthony, the less you know, the better.
well, you could have just left me happily in a pub where I wouldn't have known any of this. You seem to have gotten me caught up in something. I think that I'm
Well,
entitled to know what it is.
Owen will explain it. Owen was there. You trust Owen? You wouldn't believe anything that I said. And Tobias has a vested interest in this, whereas Owen has absolutely nothing to gain from any of this. So, I mean, if I tell you to trust Owen, you know you can trust Owen, correct? That's not a lie. That's not even a partial truth, a partial untruth. That's just the complete unvarnished truth.
Yeah, but why does it sound like a lie when you say it?
Perhaps it's my face.
Hmm. Um, Tobias will pipe up and say, I'm a little surprised you didn't try to kill me already, Jack. I kind of thought that's where this was
Tobias.
going.
Tobias. Why would I kill someone who owes me a favor?
He will be absolutely agog at this. What could I owe you a favor?
You do. Two favors, actually. One, I took that horrible thing off your hand. I
You
spared
stole
you
my
pain,
property.
and I stole nothing. I merely departed your presence with something that you had in your closet. I didn't steal it. You didn't say, don't take that. Oh no, please leave it here. You didn't say anything like that. Therefore, not theft.
Oh, so I
So,
didn't steal your
favor the
contract
first,
either.
favor the first. I relieved you of something that was causing you pain. Favor the second. Favor the second. You have secreted that contract in a place where even I don't know where it is. Thus, should Old Scratch come looking for it, I can truthfully tell him I have no idea where it might be.
Yeah, I sure hope nobody told Old Scratch where to look.
Well, would you have done that?
I would have.
If Old Scratch fetches me to hell, I can't very well help you get the Atlas back now, can I?
I'm not sure. You're driving me to Birmingham. I don't think the Atlas is there. I don't think you're helping me. Um,
Tobias, please. These things need plans, and to make a plan, I need my compatriots. And it
mhm.
just so happened we were headed back to Birmingham anyway. You needed to get out of Oxford.
All right.
This is what some people would call a win-win situation, or perhaps even a win-win-win situation. All of us benefit from this.
I think maybe we leave the scene there for now, as this conversation continues. Um, Owen, do you go to talk to the gentleman in the park?
Yeah, I suppose I actually will. I do. I do have. Like, I don't think that I am going to quite use it the same way that Jack did his flirtation and romance spend. I do think that how old is this person?
Well, you tell me. Like, it seems like Owen's generally in. Well, we know that Anthony is like a slightly younger, like Twinkie type. Is that Owen's general type?
Sure, sure. Yeah, I will say that. Well, hello there, boy, or lad. Um, no, like I just said, I'm not Jack. That is Jack's thing. Jack's thing is sleeping with people for information. Um, and then it's just information that he kept because he was just sleeping there the entire time for the rest of the mystery. We didn't even find out about it. Um, uh, I'm afraid I'm here on some less than pleasurable business today. We had heard that there's some spot of violence about these parts recently. You wouldn't happen to well, just for the helping hand I gave you the other night, you wouldn't happen to be able to answer a question or two I might have about that.
He's a little reluctant. Like, I think it will take a spend, but he will
Yeah,
answer your questions.
yeah.
What do you want to know?
Is George still here? Is she just where is George?
George is on the far side of the pond, back to you, smoking furiously. I think she's got a book in her pocket. She has a book she's reading, or taking notes in, and trying to pretend she doesn't exist.
Um, yeah, sorry. So what was it you said, Shane? I just got distracted by that.
What did you want to know?
I wanted to know, do I know enough about these men that I have descriptions of them?
Yeah, I think we could establish that. Even though I made the corkboard in uh, on slides without pictures, if I'd had enough time, there would have been like little photographs attached to it. So I think,
Yeah,
at least for
I
David Huskinson, you have a
yeah,
description.
I give a description of a few of the folks that died, and I want to know if he had any encounters with them. Um, if he had if these were like if that is something that links them.
Um, he says that he saw the bodies. He spends a lot of time in the park. He, looks slightly embarrassed to tell you that. That also slightly smirking. He saw all three of the bodies. Um, they were pretty horrible, but they weren't anyone that he had met before. He hadn't seen them around. They didn't seem to be regulars or anything
Okay,
like
but he
that.
did. Was that all of them, or was there a particular one he did see? You said.
He saw all of them, yeah. The three of them.
Oh, all of them. Okay. Together or just like separately?
Separately, over time. He
Okay,
spends a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of time in the park. I
Okay.
think maybe you get the impression that, he might be living in the park, that he might not have a place of his own. Um, so he's around a lot, he sees a lot, he saw all of the bodies.
Yeah. I will take a. I will. I'll say, well, thanks for the information. And I think because I did blackmail a lot of money. I did need to keep a little bit of it for expenses.
Uh-huh.
Um, I pull out a sizable bill and hand it off to him and say, I think there might be a bit of danger around here the next few days. I'd lie low if you can. Find yourself a place to uh, bunker down, and well, we wouldn't say bunker down yet. Um, Actually, no. I guess this is the period where we would have. Anyway, find a bit of a warm place to shelter for the next few days, uh,
Very
and
kind.
while I would love to stay longer, I'm afraid I'm something on the clock right now. But
All right. Well, I hope you have some more time another night, and he'll uh, thank you, say goodbye, wander off
I mean,
towards
I
the other
slap
side of
his
the
ass for
park.
good measure. But
All right. He smiles back at you. All right. So, yeah, I guess I assume that we didn't really
I walk
establish this.
quietly up behind George and let her. I don't announce myself for a few moments as she's smoking, and then I lean over and say, "I think I found a link between them," into her ear. Because I am stealthy. That is a thing. I'm a
Sure.
stealthy gorilla, George.
And yes, I think George was absolutely focused on not hearing anything. So she jumps a little bit and then turns and says, "Excellent."
All right. So, I assume that you have a hotel or something where you've arranged to stay, not especially salubrious. Is there anything that George or Owen are going to do with the rest of the night, or are you just going to go back and get some sleep?
No, yeah, I think I was planning on going back and getting some sleep because I'm gonna be trying to infiltrate some fascists tomorrow. I feel like I want to get a good night of sleep for that.
Um,
And I think George does the same, but perhaps while we were in the park, she's found some little rowan branches, and again, with the air of someone worried about being caught, will put them over the lintels of the room she's in,
nice.
sheepishly.
Um, and Jack, an hour or two after these two get to bed, you're pulling back into Birmingham. Are you going to drive Tobias and Anthony to the hotel where you're staying, or what's the plan? It's like 2 a.m. by now.
Gentlemen, we're going to stay at a hotel, but if you will indulge me, we do need to walk several blocks to get there. And I will pull the car up, park it someplace, get out, start walking away. Come, come.
Tobias will hang back and say, Jack, why don't you tell me the address of this hotel and I'll come see you later.
Tobias, don't you think that if I was going to kill you, that there wouldn't be witnesses?
I'm not worried about you killing me. I just don't want to sleep in your hotel room. I'm going to go find a party.
Tobias, I'm offering you hospitality. Don't you understand that it's rude to refuse hospitality, especially after you offered me hospitality and drink? I have to return the favor. There are old customs that must be observed and obeyed and followed.
Oh, well, if it's going to offend you, then I'm definitely not going to come and stay with you.
I'm not saying it would offend me. I'm saying there are customs that must be followed. You offered me hospitality. I have to offer you hospitality in return.
Well, you done
It's
offered.
not that I would be offended. It's that the customs must be obeyed. These are things older than you and I, perhaps even older than this country.
I'm not coming to your hotel. I mean, apart from anything else, I've got a friend in your boot who's not going to be welcome at your hotel.
Your friend in the hotel will be fine. Your friend in the boot will be welcome. Trust me.
No, I'm not coming with
Also,
you. I don't want to go. I'm not ready for bed.
I wonder, is there a stat that would allow me to do a point spend to have made friends with the Hell Beast from what is it, Margate Dam?
I think that's right.
Mardale Dam?
I mean, I don't really think so. Like, what would you have done to befriend it?
Maybe animals just like me. Maybe it's a
I
Snow
don't
White
think
thing.
it's an animal. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, you haven't spent any significant amount of time in contact with it. It's been in the boot or hanging half out of the boot for the last hour or so. And before that, you hadn't encountered it directly. So, no, I don't think that you kind of befriended it.
Versus that. That's this.
So Tobias is just going to give a whistle, and the Hellbeast will climb out of the trunk of the car. And Tobias will just turn his back on you and start walking away.
Do come see me at the hotel. I'll make sure you get back to Oxford.
Uh-huh. You find my skull. I want my skull back.
I'm going to need your help to get your skull back.
That's not the deal. He's just like calling out over his shoulder as he walks away.
And I'm yelling after him, why must you be so difficult all the time?
And from, somewhere above you, a voice calls out, "Shut up, it's 2 o'clock in the morning."
Sod off, you wanker.
All right. We're
And
gonna
then I'll
cut
go to
that
the
scene there.
hotel with Anthony.
And are you planning to just knock on Owen's door and say, "Hey, I brought Anthony"?
Yeah, he'll be thrilled.
Is Owen thrilled?
I think that Owen is kind of pauses and looks between you and Anthony. And I think he does say that, well, Jack, I don't question Jack's nonsense, but Anthony, you really trust him?
Definitely not. He made me think you wanted
Anthony,
to see me.
I told you I would bring you to Owen. I did that very thing. Why don't you trust me?
Anthony does not answer you, but just says to Owen, "You have some strange friends."
He's not a friend.
For a certain definition of friend, we could be friends.
It sure is getting late. Maybe Owen and I would like to catch up privately.
Yes, 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 absolutely. And I will pat Anthony on the shoulder and I'll sort of reach out to pat Owen on the shoulder and think better of it and say, you two lovebirds have fun. And I will go to look for George's room.
You're gonna wake up George as well?
Why wouldn't I?
Okay. Um, so George, just around 2 a.m., there's a knock on your door.
Indeed. Yeah. I hmm. I think she has incorrect assumptions about who it's going to be. Um, I don't think she brought a weapon with her. Uh, but I think what would be in like a 1930s hotel room?
There's a candlestick, maybe?
Yeah,
Candlestick
yeah.
holder, lamp.
Yeah,
Is there a fireplace in the room?
sure.
Yeah, she's got a fire iron. And she'll come to the door. Who is it?
It's Jack.
Uh, and she sighs in a in the same way that an oak tree creaks in the wind, right? That just a deep release of stress that she's not going to let break her. She does not open the door. What is it, Jack?
I need to talk to you.
I'm listening.
Seriously, you want to have this discussion through the door?
I don't want to have it in my room, and I'm certainly not coming to yours.
Can we at least go for a walk?
It's 2 a.m., Jack. I'm dressed for bed.
And your point? I didn't say you had to change.
I think you hear the creak as she sits down in her bed, and you can't hear anything from this, but she does cradle her face in her hands, putting the fire iron down on the ground next to her. Just say whatever it is you need to say, and then go away, Jack.
I'm not even sure where to begin. Um, First, do you have any idea how to make friends with a hell beast? Second, I need help coming up with a plot to steal something from Moses Sabini. Third, the contract for my soul has been stolen and I don't know where it is and need help finding it. Fourth, I need to find a job for a weaver. The fifth, what else? What's fifth? And you can hear me
I
slump
noticed.
down on the floor with my back against the door and say, George, you will rarely hear me in a moment of such candor. I am a mess and I need help.
Uh, and I think there's just sort of silence for a moment. And then George says, I noticed none of your to-dos are deal with the troll in Birmingham and attune to the place of power here.
I didn't know there was a troll because I was off getting Anthony so that people would stop worrying about him.
Jack, why did you think that we were coming to Birmingham?
I assumed it had something to do with magic.
Right. Right. Yeah.
George, my methods may not even make sense to me, but I follow the cards.
You follow your whims. You do what's good for Jack.
If it makes you feel better, I actually do follow my cards.
Right.
You know, if they say something is difficult, I acknowledge it's going to be difficult, and I steel myself for it. And if they say you must be decisive, I'm decisive. I make a decision. For better or worse, I make a decision.
Seems like a lot of it's been for the worse. Go to sleep, Jack.
You are not wrong.
I've got my own problems. If you want my advice, stop digging.
Hey, maybe you can tell me what one of your problems is and I can fix it for you? I mean, I solved Owen's problem. I brought Anthony here. I went back to Oxford. I found Anthony in one of the watering holes where he lays low, which was no small feat, considering someone was surveilling him.
The
And
train doesn't run this late.
I know I didn't take the train.
You don't have a car.
That's
Wait,
true.
to clarify, they were surveilling you, I thought, in the end.
Well, surveilling Anthony. There was a big dude watching Anthony. Tobias was surveilling me.
And not just like looking at him because you were standing next to him.
Well,
Well,
no, the
I
dude was
don't think we
watching
know.
Anthony before I showed up.
Yeah, I don't think we know exactly who was looking for
Okay.
who or why, but someone other than Tobias was watching Anthony when.
I see. Okay, sorry. The big right. I get it now. Sorry, there was a separate.
Yeah.
My mistake.
So, George,
Mhm.
let me help you.
Jack, I don't need a single lick of help that you can give me. Go to
Of
bed.
course you do. Everyone needs something deniable. I mean, honestly, if you send me after something and it gets fouled up, it's just Jack fouling things up again.
I'm trying to send you to bed, and you're refusing to go.
All right, George. Good night.
Good night. And you hear a sort of metallic clunk as she puts the fire iron back.
And what you do not hear is footsteps going down the hall because I am falling asleep against her door.
All right. So it's a bit early, but I think this might make sense as a good spot to finish up for today, and then we can come back with Jose back next week and find out what Sybil is doing tonight, and bring you all back together to plan your next steps. Um, grab yourself 1 XP for participating and 1 XP if you hit one of your keys or well, one of your keys. And I will stop the recording and we'll do stars and wishes.